Okay, so you're just...
Oh, we're so glad to have you here.
Yes, yes, this is great to meet you after seeing the pictures and hearing the accounts.
And we're only sorry maybe that it's not 2 weeks later with more gorgeous color.
Yes, yes, well, you're getting a bit of it, though, little touches here and there. And you brought a glorious day.
And you could...
Okay, good.
Okay, so this is my favorite wintertime occupation, splitting this wood.
This is what keeps us warm through the long winter.
Fee doesn't split, but she carries
I
wood.
haul, right.
She hauls.
I make the fires.
And it's that's closed up for rain, not for any other reason. The tarps are there to keep the wood dry.
It looks sort of like a camel, and then with the humps.
I'm pretty sure it's owing to excessive dryness in July. And these pieces I'll keep and use as kindling, for fireplace. I'll gather them later. And there's another one there. So just now I've cut out about 15 or 18 of these little light growths, all dead. And when I cut, I can tell they're dead. It's very dry wood. They're not just bushes that shed their leaves early. I think that does most of it. What I've done over the years is I've been cutting out light growth to allow the fern to come down more and more away from the road. Started out, there was a little bit up by the road, and by cutting out competing growth, that fern just all by itself gradually comes down. And I'd like to get it even further down. It's very pretty. This Andromeda has finally prospered. It was going up slowly and giving no blossom. And this will be the first year we're going to get a good early spring blossom. I'd really be lost without this around here. It's just a lot of odds and ends of pruning we do with this. I end up often taking off low branches that come out over the driveway. So. This has suffered some from the drought too. It's too dark ever to grow any kind of healthy amount of green, but the ferns would normally hang on pretty well. But the July drought and heat pretty much did an end. The euonymus, we love this euonymus. It's really, it's more colorful than ivy. We're delighted with that.
Mm.
I was trying to think how much we changed when we moved in, but all these plantings we put in, and it was just kind of a scruffy, like that, kind of a scruffy low grass, indifferently growing there. So we were glad to do that. Then we added the entryway, I think I told you. These trees are our air conditioner, of course. In the hottest weather, we can keep this house 8 to 10 degrees colder than the hot outdoor temperature by opening up at night and closing during the day. rose of Sharon is producing later than usual, and it's keeping blossom later than usual, despite the heat that's spoiled so much of it. The birds don't come as much for the crab apples as I would have thought. The birds have some slight interest in crab apples from time to time, but they don't really come, eagerly and often. Hammock is much more for Fi than for me. I've never been a hammock person. I don't. But she loves to take a short rest nap. I don't know if she ever goes to sleep, but she loves that hammock. And we're very lucky because there are trees just the right width for hanging. Oh, what you see behind it, that green barrel, is a composter. Put stuff in with some water, twirl it around, and let the stuff rot. It takes about a month to get a really fairly decent compost out of it. These are this beautiful little wild, I think it's an aster, but it grows red leaves. There's some over there too. Some there. Well, we're really, that's a wonderful tree. We really love it, but on the other side, it's being crowded out by a big oak, so I don't know. I'm tempted to have that big oak removed, favor the big pine tree. On the other hand, that big oak gives us lots of shade, hardly shades the roof, so I think we'll let it go for sure. Oh, and I should show you, Gerry, I should show you what we built as a playhouse. But our grandchildren are too leery of spiders. There are always spiders inside. So instead it's become my tool shed. It's over here. And it's very amusing. Our oldest grandchild, Alexander, was about, I think, 8 or 9. And he had a great deal of fun when I was building that. He would sort of use the stepladder and perch up on top. So. But then when I built it, it was for them. When I built it, a couple of times they would go there a long time ago, but then there are too many spiders, and I'm sure if I open up now there'll be spiders, and they just didn't like it. It has another life inside. We had a local guy built the raised terraces for us, so we could. That's partly to get them above the moles, because we were frequent visits from moles. And two of those plants we had to take in over winter. This. That little geranium, and this plant we were given is called oxalis, and you grow it for this very beautiful foliage. You grow it. And in about 2 weeks, as soon as the temperature is steadily down around 40, and I've got to take the plant in so that we winter over this one and that 2-colored geranium. All the rest stays out. That's Westover Air Force Base you're hearing, by the way. This pathway is a public right-of-way for drainage, road drainage, not fresh water, not a spring, but road drainage comes through here. And about every 10 years they come and make sure it's open. But I tend to keep it open because it's more pleasurable just to see it, and it cuts down on mosquitoes. Keep it open. Yep, this was just a tumble down hillside with little rivulets of rain, not very attractive. So we had all that done and put the plantings on the right of the staircase and go up and down for lots of good reasons. Okay, so I'll take you in and show you my man of the household special preserve, which is the cellar where I have my odds and ends of woodworking and tools and so on. You'll see. This we inevitably call our mud room, and it's interim room, and we just come in from outdoors here. Many houses have such a handy room. We pile stuff up here and use it, and in the depth of winter, we keep the door closed going into the rest of the house so that this doesn't add a lot of cold air to the house. Yeah, it's nice that we can open up here. I don't know if this basement deserves a visual memorial, but here it is. Watch your head, Gerry. That's tall enough. You're tall enough to not get clipped from the edge. So this is a little bit of everything. We don't have an attic, so this takes care of all kind of odds and ends. My wine rack, that's a lot. Scrap wood waiting to be sawn for kindling. The usual workshop miscellany of paint jars, all manner of odds and ends. My stationary bike, which I'm honest to confess I don't use an awful lot because I so much prefer to be outdoors on the bike. But my drill press, saw, workbench that I kept adding to and reorganizing, but I finally have it the way I want. And then only 2 years ago I built the big table there, and much enjoyed by our grandkids, and Fi is also is the ping pong table.
Yes, Uncle Bob, I think that Debbie wishes she was here. She absolutely loves to play ping pong.
Uh-huh.
So if we ever visit again, she will definitely want to play.
That's our phone, but we'll pick up the message later. I used to love, and I used to be good at ping pong, but I had bad damage in my elbow. I didn't recognize it, but it came from 5 summers with a pneumatic hammer on the railroad. So I had to have an operation in which my nerve was moved out of my funny bone. It no longer goes through my elbow that way. The nerve runs up through here. But the result was I lost a lot of clever use of my right arm, and I never went back to. I can still, hit the pedal, but in college I was very good at ping pong. I loved it, but not much now. Anyway, Fi upholds the family honor. She's good at it, and the visiting children. Actually, of our children, only Tim loves ping pong. But we have friends and neighbors, and ping pong is nice from time to time. Oh yes. That's what we're going to start this weekend, repainting our dining room. I put in that insulation, by the way. I don't know why, but our predecessors just left it this way, and that's it's neck breaking. I remember going, like this, up overhead, stapling all the insulation in place. But we assumed that made a big difference because we didn't live here when there was nothing. The first year I worked hard and put that insulation up. Oh, Gerry, come take a picture. Let me get I want to show you. Is this? Oops. Oh yes. The thing worth seeing is come over here, and our predecessor, husband or wife, most likely husband, was not very handy, but built in this room for odds and ends. But look, he built it with wood. It's almost like a primitive pre-Mayan construction of things piled up with all kinds of scrap. But I've had to remove some nails. There's still many. He used huge nails, far too big for much of what he was doing, and it's so extraordinarily clumsy. So when we leave this house, if we don't remove that, I'm going to put a big sign saying Bob Herbert did not build this. It's an extraordinarily clumsy mixture. So the point is to choose a target. You can choose lighter weight things. It'll go off to a further distance. But our grandkid's favorite is Henrietta, who talks to you. So I made that, for one Christmas time. I made it ahead of Christmas for the grandkids when they were younger to have something to play with and so on. These are supposed called inkle belts, and it's supposed to be a corruption of the Irish word angle for angle, and were said to have been originated and spread by Irish seamen, fishermen, because these are so extraordinarily strong. You can not only use them as belts, which was a way to carry them around, but several of them can be tied together and used as emergency rope or hawser. And it's because they're wool, and the wool is pushed in tightly together. And that's what gives you this extraordinary strength of these things. Anyway, I gave most of them away, but I keep some because they have lessons in color for my weaving. There's some of my available wool. It's cotton as well as wool you see on that cupboard. And I made that cupboard to hold wool. So that's where I keep some of mine, wool. Like everybody else, I call them wool, even though a lot of it is cotton. And I have more in the wet bar, which use there. So one thing Sister Pat would especially like, since she did some very beautiful folkloric paintings when she was younger, is our dining room where the light's less strong than here. So oil paintings I have mostly in the dining room, a few here and